Hi everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'll show you how to draw a beautiful flower pot in Procreate. I'll start with drawing the pot using the mono brush. To use the symmetry tool, go to Actions, turn on the drawing guide and edit drawing guide and choose symmetry. Close the shape and fill it with color. Turn off the drawing guide and create a new layer and place it under the first one. Now we'll start drawing the flowers. My favorite are the yellow tulips, so I'll draw that. But you can draw any flowers you like, of course. Try to create a new layer for every flower. It will be so much easier to move them around the composition or resize them if you need that later. You already know by now how much I love the transform tool, so after the initial drawing, I'm using the warp option to make sure the flowers have the best shape. To select a layer with a finger touch, as I do here so often, go to Actions, that is the key button near the gallery, then hit Press and Gesture controls. On the layer setting option, choose Touch. Now, we'll repeat the same process to draw the leaves. If you want to recreate this exact illustration, try to order the layers just as I do. Always keep in mind that the above layers on the layer menu are the ones that you can see in the front of the illustration. You can always see the color I'm currently using on the little circle on the upper right corner. Also, keep an eye on the brush bars to see the brush size and opacity. You can see those on the middle left side of the screen. This illustration has quite a few layers, so if your tablet or phone doesn't allow you to create so many, you can merge some of them from time to time, but you should at least have the pot, the flowers and the leaves on different layers. This is not my usually drawing speed, but I'm trying to draw really slowly to make sure this tutorial is easy for you to follow. By the way, do you prefer hearing my voice like this over the music background that I usually have on my videos? Please let me know in a comment down below. You're always asking this, so the tablet I'm using is an 11 inches iPad Pro with a second generation Apple Pencil. It has the smallest memory available, which is 64 GB. At the moment, I just bought the cheapest iPad Pro version since I didn't know if I like using it. Who knew that 1 year later I'll have an entire YouTube channel built around it? Back to our illustration now. We'll need to lock all the layers before starting shading them. You can do that by either tapping the layer name and turning on the alpha lock or swiping 2 fingers to the right on it. I was trying to keep this video as short as possible so you don't get bored, that's why you won't see this step on camera. As always, I'm using one of my own shading brushes, but feel free to use any brush you like for this step. You can even use the Procreate airbrush or maybe the noise brush. I'm shading one flower at a time, using the selection tool to draw some petals. You can also create a clipping mask layer for these details, but we already have so many layers in here, so let's just keep things simple. When I'm working on the edges of the flower, I'm sizing down the brush. You can see that on the brush bars, as I mentioned before. We'll have to repeat this process for every flower. I have to admit that this illustration looks a little more painterly than my usual style, and it's all due to the brush I'm using. If I'd use my usual recycled paper brush on this, the flowers would be more 3D. That's actually a very good trick. Recreating some old illustration with different brushes will make them look quite different. I'm using the same brush for the leaves. It's called the organic brush. First, I'll add some big shades, and then I'll come back and work the details on every leaf. This process might look a little boring, I'm sorry, but hey, you said you wanted to see the whole process here, so here it is. If you made any mistakes or are just not happy with your stroke, you can always tap two fingers on the screen to undo. I never use a shading brush at full opacity. I usually like it around 50 or 60%, and I never press too hard the pencil on the screen. It's better to build up the shade than to add too much of it at a time. If you do have some time, try to go to the gesture controls and customize them to your liking. Using shortcuts will make the drawing process so much faster and so much easier. Another shortcut that I use a lot is the eyedropper on touch and hold. That will allow you to select a color from screen with a finger hold. Now we'll add some highlights to make these leaves really stand out. This is really my favorite part of the drawing process and always gets me so excited. Let's add some shadows on the pot. This is so easy. All that's missing now in our illustration is a small shade under the pot, and we'll make that on a new layer. Thank you so much if you had the patience to watch this video till the end. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you choose to recreate this. I'd love to see your work. Bye for now.